Shechter and Rabbi Eisen, either one of you. My dating has been really hard on my parents. They are very sad and anxious that I am not yet married. I feel as though they are upset at me each time I decide that a boy or girl is not for me, and it makes me doubt my decisions. Dating is hard for me, but by seeing how hard it is for my parents, I feel like I have no one to talk to and feel guilty for being a source of pain to my parents. What guidance can you give me to best deal with my parents in this position? And what chizik can you give parents out there who feel sad and anxious as my parents do? Either.
If I may jump in, official.
Please,
and
please.
I'm only jumping in is because I actually discussed this, the question earlier today, and I want to share with you that number one, a person is single that's in their home that engenders this type of a hergish, grab them, because we're talking about midas, we talk about sensitivity, we talk about concern. Could you imagine an older single having a difficult time with shidduchim, and what's on their mind and what's gnawing at their heart is their parents' pain, and they're not totally absorbed in their own world of what they view as crisis, of a source of anxiety, and they're worried? I think that this is a great question which reflects the greatness of these type of people that have these type of feelings. That's number one. I want to put that out and say that if this is true, that this question was formed because of somebody feeling that way, incredible feeling. Practical, what do you do? Over here goes back to what Rabbi Shechter said. You need a madrich, you need a compass, you need a navigation system. And I implore the singles that are listening. There's so many different decisions that can be made with smart hadracha if you find yourself a mentor, a rebbe, a rebbitzin, a teacher, a menaheles, a rav, a rebbe, a rosh yeshiva. They are the ones that could really deal with this problem. Maybe before the end, we'll have a chance to talk about the milah, the incredible additional milas of a mentor. But just to focus on the question itself, Rabbi Aryeh, I could tell you that if you have such a single that's part of a family that belongs to a shul, many times, if the Rav is experienced and the Rav has had children of their own that they had to marry off and contend with all sorts of personalities, many times they are the perfect individual to navigate between the parents and the children. And many times, the single should know your parents' reaction is a reflection of your insecurity. Your parents' doubts and always not sure about your decisions many times stems from your own doubts about things, from your own insecurity. The way that you are able to rectify that is to speak to people. I find over the years that singles do not speak to individuals enough. Fadracha. And that person could be the key in dealing with such a sensitive situation where we could allow the parents to understand their child and allow the child to better understand their parents and really create something fabulous in one cohesive unit that itself could bring the Yeshua.
I'd love to leave you with what Rabbi Eisen said. I don't want to mess it up because it's just unbelievable words. I think in general, when someone is pushing you to do something, especially your parents, there's a natural resistance because it's your parents. And I think what Rabbi Eisen said is invaluable. If you have a third party that doesn't have the negiyas, doesn't have to be smarter than you, but doesn't have the same bias that you have to be able to hear. When someone's pushing you in general to do something, and there's a pushback, because nobody wants to be pushed into something, I think you have to take a long, hard look. And this is true for the parents that are pushing, and it's true for the child that's being pushed. why am I pushing or why am I resisting? Is it a personal nitzachin? And once and for all, you're going to stop this, right? When a parent says, you're going to stop this stubbornness, every single boy is no. Every single boy is no. You know how hard it is to get a shidduch? What's with you? At least consider it. That's number one. So what is the parent really saying? The parent is really frustrated that the child is not respecting the parent's effort, and so the parent is frustrated that the child is not respecting the parent's efforts. That's not a reason to get married. And you're only mixing the waters. They're bubbling even hotter. You make the situation stronger. Before a parent pushes, stop to think. Is it really right? Maybe my daughter needs the push, or is this a personal, I don't want to call it a personal vendetta, but is this a personal thing that, once and for all, I'm going to straighten my daughter out? And the same is true in terms of the child. And of course, what Rabbi Eisen said before about the mere fact that this that this young lady is so sensitive to the feel of her parents, that alone is a reason to, for anyone out there to say this is a shidduch that I would be interested in, because I hear a lot of shalom bayis here and simchas achayim behind this, and that's at the end of the day, that's what counts. But I think also when your parents are pushing you and you have an automatic pushback, that's pushing. Your father wants you to do something, if your mother wants you to do something, ask any father or mother when they have a good idea to get a third party to call in, because so many times parents have said to me, I suggested it's going to be no. So do me a favor, you suggest it. We have a natural thing like, oh no, here goes my mom again, she's telling me what to do. And she can't push me to marry someone I don't want. And that's true, she can't, and you shouldn't marry anyone you don't want. But stop a second and think, why am I pushing back? Is this just out of spite because there's a natural pushback to your parents? Or am I being objective? I think that if the parents can remove their personal bias, a bias that's very well intended, and focus on the cheftza, focus on, is my pushing legitimate or not? Is there a score to settle? And when you yourself, as the young lady or the young boy, are pushing against your parents, is that my parents are not going to tell me what to do, or am I analyzing the situation and I'm saying, no, this really is not for me, I can't be pushed into it. I think once you clarify the difference between bias and objectivity, that part of the answer is going to be there.
Okay, it's